Good evening, everyone, or for you, good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to this channel. I pray and I hope that these videos are a blessing unto you. Listen, many of you are watching this video. Yes, maybe you are an exception, but I still speak for the majority who may be watching this video. Most of you never look at the bigger picture. If you're one of the exemptions, then don't bother with what I'm saying. But if the gap fits, well, you know what they say in English. But anyway, many of you never look at things in their entirety. You only see your own expectations that you have not examined reflecting back onto you. That's what you're seeing. You are noticing facts, but you process those facts based upon your expectations. So what you're seeing is your own expectation. Your own expectations reflect back onto you. And you make decisions and you judge circumstances based upon the confirmation of those expectations. Whether those expectations are answered with an attraction or an aversion. Like or dislike. You are in a duality. You are trapped and you don't even know it. Now, why am I saying this? It is because there is one thing that you absolutely need to unlearn. And when you unlearn this, it will prevent a lot of mischief, a lot of harm, and a lot of misfortune from happening to you. Now, I'm not saying that when you unlearn this, that things are going to be easy, like a bed of roses. I'm not saying that, absolutely not. There are going to be uncomfortable things happening to you during this lifetime. With some people more than with others. And you may have very troubling things ahead of you. But don't worry about that. You overcome by walking by faith. And that's why for you, overcomer, I'm telling you, I'm not telling people in the world, because people in the world, they are only interested in their own expectations. Rarely will you find a worldly individual who's not safe, just willingly to look at the bigger picture. So I'm not bothering with them. I am addressing you, believer. Because you, believer, needs to unlearn this. You need to unlearn this. The thing you need to unlearn is expecting everything to have a good beginning in your life. Okay, this may sound a bit simplistic. This may sound a bit vague. So let me go deeper into it. A lot of you want things to start off good. When you get to a job, you want people to smile at you. You want to click with some of your colleagues. You want the customers to treat you well. You want to be respected. Especially about respect, you need to evaluate your expectations, but that's a whole other subject. You want your boss to treat you well. You want things to start off good. Or, let's say that you met, I'm talking about a man now, from a male perspective. You meet this girl or this young woman and man, you are completely excited and, well, you get their phone number, you're on WhatsApp together, also on Facebook, and after a while, you are married and you want to have kids, and the kids are there, the kids behave well, and things go well at the job with your family-in-law. You want things to start off good, okay? Or from a female perspective, when you want a guy to meet your expectations. You don't even explain what your expectations are, you just have those expectations. And when someone doesn't meet your expectations, you just cut them off because you don't want to waste your time. But then you find the one, and the one meets your expectations. He's your Prince Charming, your alpha male, whatever. Someone the beta male, but that's well, I'm not going into that now. You want things to start off good. Or maybe you're a teacher, teaching people stuff. Maybe in a classroom, in a high school, or maybe at a university, or whatever the setting is. You want your students to be in a good condition. You have your expectations. You want things to start off good. You want things to go at ease. unlearn that. Because when you expect things to start off good, you are already trapped. You are already holding on to outcomes that you don't even question whether those outcomes are worth it or not. Just think about this. If you want to capture a mouse or mice, what do? You put a mousetrap. What do you put inside the mousetrap? You put rat food. Delicious food that mice are interested in. There's nothing wrong with the food. You put the food over there and you hide the trap, but the trap is still there. What happens? The mouse sees the trap and thinks, whoa, but the mouse is not aware it's a trap. They only see the delicious food, so they go after the food, and while the mouse is enjoying the food, it's dead. That's how it works. Or, let's give another example. Let's say that you have this beautiful grass field with a lot of flowers, and there's a pond over there. And there's a great scenery of the hills in the background. So you and your family are about to picnic over there. But then you notice that there's nobody else around. That none of the tourists come to this part of the national park. And the day after, you tell some people in town that you went to that side of the park, and they're looking weird at you. And you're asking them what's going on, and they tell you there are mines buried down there. Many people went to that location and they were either killed or they lost limbs. And it's then that you realize why you didn't see many people over there. Why those mines, they were placed there during wartime, under the ground. And when the war was over, nobody realized there were still mines over there. So, when people noticed that mines would explode from time to time, they began to avoid the scenery. But you wanted things to start off good. And you found this place that was attractive. You weren't bothered by other people, so you thought, great. You didn't look at the bigger picture. Now, I can go on, but you see where I'm going with this. Okay, let me give one more illustration to you. Okay? Ladies, have you noticed that there are some of your friends who they get involved with a guy and suddenly they forgot all about you, they forgot about the relatives, and all. They forgot about everyone else and they're only focused on their boyfriend, who then becomes their fiancé. It is as if that guy becomes everything to them. That lady is trapped. She is. It's all starting off good, and she's so into the guy. Wait 5 years, or maybe less. Then you'll see troubles are coming. What happened? She expected things to start off good, and things started off good. Because of that, she didn't realize she was being trapped. Okay, I still need to give illustrations because I want you to understand what I'm saying here. I'm not telling you that you shouldn't have confident expectations. Some people say don't expect anything, that you can't be hurt. That's a fearful way of thinking. You always have expectations, but we as believers are ordered to be renewed in our minds, not to empty our minds. We ought to renew our minds, or our expectations ought to be in line with Christ. So I'm not telling you to have no good expectations. But having a confident expectation of good, that means to be confident that things will work out for you no matter what, is different than holding on to good beginnings. Those are two different things. When you expect things to work out for you good no matter what, because you walk by faith, you will encounter uncomfortable circumstances, you will encounter difficulties, but because your mindset is that things will work out for you no matter what, you view those difficulties differently. Because you're not holding on. And because you're not holding on, you don't have this weight upon you that's burdening your mind. And because you don't have this weight, now you can see things clearly, you can think clearly. Because you're not holding on. And when you're in this state, you can easily see more opportunities. You can easily see possibilities. And because you have a confident expectation of good, you are, let's say, you are motivated to take actions. And because you're motivated to take actions, things will get such a hold on you. You get what I'm saying here? But if you are holding on to good beginnings, then when things begin to go wrong, after they went good, you're going to ask why they're going wrong. And what you want is, you want things to return to the way it was, how it started. And that is a trap, because now you're holding on to a good beginning. And you don't see that that good beginning was a hoax to begin with. Okay. In movies, okay, when you have a mobster, someone in a criminal world that wants to get rid of a rifle, they can hire a hitman to go there and just shoot the individual. But often they don't do it like this. It's in movies. I don't think that in practice it happens exactly in the same way. But in movies you see that the mobster hires a prostitute or an actress to lure their rifle. They send a beautiful woman, with a short skirt, high heels, with lipstick on, who talks smooth, very softly, in a seductive manner. And they send this woman onto you. And you are attracted to her. So the contact begins. So after 1 or 2 weeks or a few days, you're together at a cafe, you're having a good time, and then, bang, you're shot. You were trapped in order to be assassinated. So, that's how it happens in movies. Now, in real life, there are times it happens that way. I'm not saying always, but even in movies, the movie makers show you that just because something starts off good, that doesn't mean it's something good. Now, I'm not telling you to become suspicious and to always look for demons behind the bush. No, absolutely not. I'm just telling you to look at things in their entirety. To look at the bigger picture. And that is what most of you don't do. And that's why Satan can trap you over and over again. Because when you look at it carefully, Satan doesn't use many tricks on people. He has many tricks, but most of the time, the few tricks that are common work very well. Because people are so relief-centered that once they held on a good beginning, and later things went wrong, they move on, so-called move on, by cutting off contact with or remove themselves from a situation. And then they say that they don't want that to happen again. So now they have other expectations. And now they expect things go according to those new expectations. New. For example, you may have a guy that used to be married to a Jezebel. And now he has divorced. And now he wants to remarry. And so now he has other expectations of females, but his expectations are still relief-centered. First, he used to look at looks a lot. Now he doesn't look at the looks that much anymore. He looks more at how respectful she is. And he thinks, well, he has upgraded, he has learned. Hold on a minute. That guy cannot even explain what respect is. What he calls respect is what his parents taught onto him. He never evaluated it. So what happens now? The only thing Satan has to do is to send a woman into his life that mirrors his expectations, and there it goes again. The same crap that happened with his first marriage will repeat again. But he thinks he has moved on. He thinks he has learned from the past. He didn't, because he's still relief-centered. Look, I don't want to make this video too long. It's already 15 minutes. Just understand this. When you expect good beginnings, instead of having a confident expectation of good no matter what, if that's you, you are trapped. And you will fall for anything. I'm not saying that anyone will just come onto you and you will just believe anything they say, but the moment you have this relief-centered attitude of you want good beginnings, and you're stern and clear about your expectations and your boundaries, the more you invest in expecting good beginnings, the more easily you are trapped and deceived in anything. I say anything. You will be dragged in situations while you will do things you never wanted to do. And afterwards you will think, how could I have done that? That's why I'm telling you, have a confident expectation of good, instead of holding on to good beginnings. Me, I don't hold on to good beginnings. Because I know I walk by faith, things work out in my advantage, in my long-term benefit, no matter what. I'm in Christ, so I have a Christ-centered attitude. Yes, there will be uncomfortable things here and there, but those are uncomfortable things. Those things are not me. So I'm not going to into the flight mode to flee from every discomfort. No, the discomforts have to flee from me. Danger has to flee from me. Violence has to flee from me, because I'm in Christ. That's why you walk by faith. That's why you are a believer. That's why you have the Lord. Look, just look at Christ himself when he walked the earth. The people he chose, the people he picked as his disciples. Peter had anger issues. Thomas was doubting so often. You had the other disciples that were very slow in learning. A lot of them also had unbelief still. And most of them were not even educated men. They were not even people that had a good standing in the community. There was also a tax collector, and tax collectors were hated in that time, because tax collectors were used to extort people. It was common. Matthew was a tax collector. Okay, well, or it was Levi, but okay. Why did Christ pick those people? Didn't Christ know that bad company corrupts good character? Now, what was Christ doing? Christ was not expecting good beginnings. Christ was not holding on to good beginnings, He was not holding on to good beginnings. Christ looked at the bigger picture. He saw that these men were willingly to receive his grace. They were willingly to learn, no matter how slow the learning was, and that is what he was looking for. He did not bother with all the issues they had. Why? Because he knew that once they walked by faith, he would outgrow all those issues. Look at Peter. Before the cross, Peter used to become violent, taking things in his own hands. Peter was confronted with the limitations of violence when Christ was arrested. After the cross and resurrection, Peter was the first one to go after Christ when he noticed Christ was risen. And Peter was acknowledging his limitations, but Christ spoke confidence into him. And after that, Peter was so confident in the faith. When the Romans arrested him and he was about to be executed the next day, one of the apostles had already been executed by Herod. That guy was sleeping. He was in a deep sleep. He wasn't worried that he's about to be killed tomorrow. Why? Because Christ told him after the resurrection that he would become an old man. So he knew, if I'm going to become an old man, that means that what's happening now, for some reason, I'm going to overcome this. And what was happening? the believers were praying on Peter's behalf, and an angelic being, a holy angelic being, came and rescued Peter from that ship. Now, did Peter knew that an holy angelic being would come and rescue him? No, but he had confidence. He had confidence, because he had a confident expectation of good. When Ananias and Sapphira came, and they wanted to cause harm to the congregation, to God's people, Peter noticed what was wrong, and both of them fell down dead. Was it Peter that killed them? No. The Holy Spirit took them out because they came to harm God's people. And Peter was firm. Now, did Peter need to outgrow certain things? Yes, he did. You could read about it in the book of Acts. But Peter had confidence. You see what I'm saying here? Christ looked at the bigger picture. A lot of you say you're Christ-like, but your mindset is not Christ-centered. You are still holding on to good beginnings. You're still seeking relief. You still are in the flight mode. Whenever something manifests, it's not in line with your expectations. You don't even evaluate your expectations to see whether they are in line with Christ or not. Well, it's time for you, believer, to walk by faith, because it's there that there's victory. Nowhere else. That being said, be at peace.